At our clinic, those words aren't just reserved for the human staff. They're also for Dr. George, our very own four-legged head doctor. George takes his job extremely seriously, making his rounds every morning, checking on each patient, supervising surgeries through the glass, and generally acting like he's running the whole show. And honestly, we let him, because in a way, he does. George's journey with us didn't begin as a grand plan. It started unexpectedly, on a visit to my parents' house. That's where I found him, a tiny stray kitten, barely 3 months old, skinny, scruffy, and desperately in need of love. As a veterinarian, I naturally thought, I'll foster him for a bit until I can find him a real home. I even brought him to the clinic during the day to keep an eye on him while working. But fate had other plans. At one point, we tried a home trial with a potential adopter, just a few hours, and I thought I was doing the responsible thing. But the moment he was gone, a wave of sadness hit me. It was like a part of my heart had suddenly gone missing. I realized right then, George wasn't just another kitten. He was my family, and in his own way, he had already decided that too. From the very beginning, he had clung to me, meowing loudly if I was out of sight, curling up in my lap the second I sat down, following me like a tiny shadow. He was adorable, sure, but he was also a bit of a rascal. George had, and still has, a fiery spirit. He'd boldly march up to dogs 10 times his size, utterly convinced that he was in charge. He'd leap onto counters, rummage through medical supplies, and plant himself stubbornly in the middle of busy hallways. We worried at first that having such a mischievous little creature around the clinic might cause chaos, and it did. Of course, there are mornings when George decides he's taking the day off. On those days, he stays home, sprawled out in a sunbeam, living his best life. And we let him, because, truthfully, he's earned it. George keeps our clinic grounded. His little antics, his bright eyes, the way he reminds us not to take everything so seriously. It's healing in its own way. For our patients, for our clients, and for us. It's funny to think that a tiny stray kitten, one I had intended to foster for just a few weeks, could become the beating heart of our clinic. George wasn't part of the plan. He was a happy accident. The kind that sneaks up on you, changes everything, and leaves you wondering how you ever lived without him. He's not just a cat. He's family. He's our Dr. George, and we're the luckiest team in the world to have him.